guys, my name is Shreds.
My name is Rita.
And we're almost there?
Question mark?
Welcome back. So today we're going to be doing an India part two, which is going to be exciting and interesting because since our last parts, which you'll realize were a long time ago, since then we've revisited for the wedding that we were talking about in our previous parts, and we've experienced India very, very differently than what we had experienced in the past. So we thought it was definitely worth a video, or definitely worth like a recap, because we needed to do it justice because a lot's changed.
Yeah. You know what did not change though?
What?
The fact that it is so hot where we went. So we were in Mangalore in India, which is like the southern region of India.
That's where we're from originally. Yeah.
And so I always heard people talk about how hot it was. And I knew from my own experience that like, yeah, it's hot, but like I wouldn't really be outside that much, so it didn't matter that much. But this time we were out and about, and wow, that it's not okay.
It's not, guys, like,
No.
if you think you've experienced hot in your life, like, you just haven't. This is at a crazy level. Like, I wish we could show you pictures. Even the fucking pictures show you. We are drenched.
Yeah.
After the first day, we stopped doing our hair for the wedding because there was no reason to do it. Like, it was so hot. Our hair would just get like wet by the end of it. There was no point in doing your hair.
It wasn't even end. It was in the beginning.
In the beginning.
You don't even need to wait that long.
Yeah, and it was so annoying to me that we were not from there, so we were just like getting, especially.
Yeah,
like,
you would get out and you would start.
Yeah, because also in general, like I overheat really quickly. A little bit of attention and my body gets hot and sweaty and everything. So like, one, I'm meeting a lot of new people. Two, it's like really hot in general.
Yeah.
Three, I'm like stressing out that I'm gonna take all my makeup off because it's sweat. And then because of that, I would just overheat even more. Did we preface like what this is? I don't think we did.
The
like,
wedding.
what
You
if
said the
people?
wedding.
Yeah, but like, what if people didn't listen to the other bit? Like, we didn't talk about Gugu's wedding or where we were or like really anything, right?
Okay.
So
We'll
maybe
edit
start with
now this part.
Well, it's fine. We could just start now and then like talk about it. So basically, it's her brother got married. Like, he had his like wedding in Mangalore, India, and we all went back to India for the wedding, and that's what this is all about. We were there for 4-5 days.
Everyone was there for different amounts of times, just depending on like when people were traveling, but the actual events were like
4 days, I think.
4.
Yeah, so we were there for 4 days.
Yeah. Sorry. Thanks for that. That actually,
welcome.
Yeah, we really didn't. We're like, you know.
Everybody knows where we're at. Mangalore, wedding, whose wedding? No idea.
If you don't know, now you know. It was so funny because like so there were specific parts obviously where I don't deal well with heat. Okay.
Yeah.
And there were other things that were contributing to stuff. But I was angry, okay?
Yeah.
But
just one day. Like, it was
one day. Yeah. It was one event.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it at that.
Yeah.
Because the same day, the next event,
we were
wild. Different. Yeah. Which was great. And it's amazing.
So much fun.
But I think we were maybe more prepared for us to just drench, and we were fine with it.
We also were drunk at that event, so it's like at that point you don't care, and everybody we touched was like sweating.
I don't want anyone to touch me, you know, and I didn't want to touch anyone. So we were all on the same page, but then because when you're so drunk you don't care, so then people would just be like, oh, but it's fine, like don't worry about it, and I'm like, I am worried though. It was a lot, and that kind of heat, we come from Dubai, you know, like
we were
dealt with
long
heat
time ago.
Yeah, and then now we're in Canada, so like doesn't really get hot.
That's what I was saying, that pissed me off a lot, was that because we're not from there, we're like sweating like it was nobody's business.
Yeah.
But the people who were from there, cool as a cucumber, not even a bead of sweat.
Bro, they would look at us like we were fucking
crazy
peasants.
people.
Like they would actually look at us like,
yeah,
what the fuck is wrong with
yeah.
them?
We were so lucky that the people who we were majority of the time we're hanging out with were from different parts of India where they didn't feel that heat still, I think. They were still sweating. Like, they were also boiling, but I'm sure the people who were from there are like, what is wrong with these people? Like,
what are they even complaining about? This is just life. Like, relax.
It was insane.
It was hot. But we met really amazing people.
Oh, it was so
while
much
we were
fun.
there, and I think like a lot of times when we go to India, we just end up meeting like a lot of our family who are great too.
So the people that we're talking about, the people that we met, like obviously our family we already know. We didn't really spend a lot of time with like our family. Like, thinking back at the wedding, we didn't.
Like, we weren't with them. I mean, like, family, like, we were obviously with the groom and the bride and stuff, but we're saying more like anyone else. Right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, we weren't with them.
I don't really know.
We were dancing with them. Like, we were, like, the events, like, we would dance and stuff with them, and that was a really good time. But the actual meat of it, we were with the bride, our sister-in-laws, like, friends and like family and stuff, and they were literally the best time.
So we met really great people, and everyone was just really sweet and nice and open to us. Obviously we spent a lot of time together during the wedding and like everything, and then there was, you know, we were hanging out with, like she mentioned, we were hanging out with the bride and groom, and then obviously we were hanging out with the friends and stuff like that. We did get to spend time with aunts and uncles here and there. Being around so many people, because we don't have that here very often, it's a really heartwarming experience. And it's very nice that, you know, when we go back to India, like I mentioned, we usually are hanging out with family, right? And when we're hanging out with family, it's like you're meeting family because you kind of have to, right? There's usually an obligation that comes into
and also
play.
It's like a very formal meeting. Like, it's not like you guys are going out and getting to know each other. It's just kind of like, let's catch up on life, and then it's time to go again. So it's not a very like
and you
deep
meet
connection.
for like dinners or something. Like you'll meet for like dinner, and then you'll meet for something, and then you have to leave. Like so it's very short lived. But whereas this experience, we met people who were like outside of that, and they were all so great and
so welcoming and so warm.
And it was a really nice experience. I think in India there's a big part of just community, and that's kind of a lot of what we miss here, or at least what I miss here, that like we don't really have that much. Like for me, for example, I live far away from everyone, right? And so I don't have that at all. And so when I do get to like come around people and stuff, it kind of just, you know, it makes me so happy. And I think it's the same thing for you as well.
100%.
Like meeting people, being around people that like are just good vibes and stuff. You don't even have to be very close to them, but you just know you're gonna meet them and you're gonna have a good time. I think we kind of miss that sometimes when we're here. And so being there in India in this atmosphere where you're around like loved ones and you're around this story, like it was my brother's wedding, so we've known about their story from the beginning, and it's just awesome to see like how everything kind of came together and stuff like that. So it was a very great, like it was, I don't even know, there's no words to like express it, but it was an awesome experience where we got to meet amazing people outside of the people that we already love and adore, you know?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing was for me, when I meet a lot of new people, like I'm not as outgoing as she is, so I don't like go up to people. But once I meet them, like it's normal and I get okay, but I just don't like initiate that thing. So it was just so sweet that they all were super open and they were the ones initiating it. And then as soon as like we all like vibed for the first 5 minutes, like they were like, come here, come there, like whatever. And we were like dancing on balconies. We were doing all these things.
You know what broke it for us?
What?
Because we hadn't met them at all, right? And what actually initiated that was the wedding, the shoe.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's what started it all, because we didn't know them.
Yeah. Because that's where we showed that we're writers.
So what it was is there is this custom or
Tradition.
ritual, I don't know what the fuck, but there's this event that happens like after the wedding is done. Or well, it kind of goes on throughout
the wedding, like the actual wedding day.
Yeah. So what happens is the groom side has to steal the shoes. I mean, I'm sure a lot of
the bride side steals the shoes
because we wouldn't steal our own. Yeah, facts.
Yeah. Okay.
Facts. Okay.
Run it back. Okay, good.
Get it together. That's literally what it was giving.
Okay.
Anyways. Okay, so the groom side has to protect the groom's, because obviously, so you can't wear shoes when you've gone up to the mandap, which is where where the ceremony actually happens.
It's like where, like, if you don't know what it looks like, it's like where the fire is and like where they do the sapphire, like where they go around in circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can't wear shoes there. So usually like the shoes are put to the side. And so it's the job of the bride's side of the family or friends to steal the shoes. And it's the job of the groom side to kind of protect the shoes. So it starts from the beginning, okay? So it's a big thing.
And this day started at like 8:45. Like this day was an early day, or 6:30, I guess, because we were like getting ready and everything.
Yeah. Like,
but like we got there at like 8:45. So this day starts like early. Not every, obviously it depends on when the pundit or the priest kind of like, says this is the nice, like, good time. Marat or whatever.
To do it. And so anyways, we have to now protect the shoes, right? And so we've protected the freaking shoes, okay? And at this point, it's like the guy cousins on our side have done all the work. We're like, I don't know what we were doing.
But no pushback on them though. Like, no, they got the shoes. They got the shoes. Yeah. And so our side, our cousins, we have a lot of, like 4 of them were protecting these shoes in the morning. So they took them right away and they like hid them. The girls' side doesn't give a shit. They're like not even worried.
When they came still later into the ceremony. Yeah. And so when they came, it's like I saw them like going around and they're looking for it, right?
But like it was like for 2 minutes, like they didn't even.
No, bro, they went. Yeah. They went to like, so our little cousin, he's usually the one in charge of all the shoes. Okay. Yeah. All the time, even for like our other cousins wedding, he's the one.
Like he steals them too.
Yeah, and he's like a kid, right? So like, we just think the best guy to do it. So he kind of like, he took it and he hid them like at the back somewhere, like where the speakers were or something. And then I saw people like going around there. And that's when I was like, okay, you got to go check on it, because I see these people like kind of going around, right? And so he went, but what happened was like, he just went and he just got them, but then they saw him. Mm-hmm. And then he comes around and then he comes to us, and like at that point I'm like stressing. I don't know why. This it feels like like life or death. Literally, like it's not that serious, but it feels like you're losing your dignity and pride and everything like you stand for.
You're protecting your brother's pride. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's a big deal. Okay, so anyways, I'm like freaking out to the guy cousins, because like we have to keep going on stage and stuff, and like we just have to kind of, I don't know what we're doing. We're just standing, really, while like the pandit was doing his stuff. Anyways, so I'm like, okay, you got to get the shoes here, but then we don't know what to do. So now what has happened is the guys all come, like the cousins at this point. It's not even the friends are not there. Okay, so the cousins come. And then they're kind of just going around. And then we are going up on the stage because we know they can't come on the stage, because they
yeah.
have their shoes on and stuff. So then I'm like, listen, guys, do something, because this is not okay.
Yeah.
So then they like somehow they ran to a car, and then they hid it in the car.
And they locked the car.
Yeah, and they locked the car. So now they can't do anything. They're like, you guys are cheaters. Like, this is not the way you do it. And
but
blah, blah.
While they were doing that too, like, he came out with a pair of shoes, like, acting like they were the shoes. And so they were, like, running after him and stuff. And then they figured out they were just, like, a copy of the shoes. And then they were like, you're cheating us, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And that's when they gave up. Because they're like, what are we going to do at this point? They're in a locked car. Like, we can't get these shoes. Yeah.
I think at that point they were like, okay, we'll come back to it later. But then
we didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't come back to it. And what happened was, now at this point, the wedding's done. Okay, so we got to give the groom his shoes. So
and it was like hot. Like, it was so hot.
At this point, we were so over it. Like it was time.
Everyone was just done. Like, it was so hot. And so keep this in mind. So all our male cousins were hot, and my parents decided, they're like, okay, we're gonna go, because there's not much to do at the end of this ceremony, because like the wedding's done now. It's just like doing the final like things or whatever.
It's like pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so my parents are like, okay, we're just gonna go back to the resort, whatever. And then everyone was just kind of like, yeah, we're gonna do that too. And they started leaving, and then the male cousins are like, yeah, it's so fucking hot, we're gonna go too. So they left. Okay, so the only two people from our side left is the two of us. Okay, yeah. So it's just the two of us.
So before they left, they gave us the shoes. I forget how we dealt with it, but
he just gave it to me. He gave it to me, and then in my head, I'm like, it's the end of the wedding. Like, you only do it during the wedding.
Gave
like,
it to you?
One of our cousins gave it to me, and like the ones who were mainly in charge of the shoes. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, because it's over. Because to me, I thought this whole thing only happened like while the wedding was happening, and it was done. And everyone was tired. They were ready to go back to the resort. Like, all the friends, like, battery at like 0. They were like sitting and like just like groaning.
They looked like they were done. Okay, yeah. Like since the beginning.
Yeah, because also there was no like drinking. There was nothing at that, and it was like so hot. So we kind of understood. So I was like, okay, it's done. So I'm holding the shoes like this, and our brother finally goes, okay, like, you gotta give me the shoes, like, you're gonna put down the shoes. And I was like, yeah, okay. And
bro, we didn't even see them, because the way it was like they were first. I don't know how they flew. Okay,
it was like birds, like, at a parade. They just saw me, and I was like, they're like coming in, like.
So they came in, and at this point, so my brother is on the chair. Okay, he's about to wear the shoes.
I'm putting it on for him, because I'm like trying to protect them, because at that point I kind of get like some sort of whatever. Yeah. So I'm like putting the shoe on,
and I take the other one and I put it under my sari, because I'm like, no one's going there. If you come here, you're done, right?
Yeah.
So, and she's like putting it on.
I'm putting the shoe on. Yeah. And one of our sister-in-law's cousins, he like swoops in his arm from over here. So I grab it and I like hold onto it, okay? Yeah. Clutching onto it for dear life.
Yeah.
And
girl did not give up.
I did not give up. No. Keep in mind, we have jewelry, we're sweating, we're in saris, like, it was insane. I'm clutching onto this thing for dear life. Then everybody starts coming up. 2 male cousins, 2 friends. They're like all on me trying to get this shoe from underneath, from above, from like everywhere. I had a belly chain. The belly chain snapped. Okay.
So much happened in that little amount of time. So much happened.
Like, fighting for our lives. Like, and I thought like a good strategy would be like screaming that my sari was falling. Yeah. So I was like, my sari's falling. My sari's falling. Yeah. And then she's like, guys, stop. Her sari's falling. So then,
bro, it was so funny, because she's doing this. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what I would do, right? So I'm trying to push it into her, and they're coming, and then they're trying to get my hand off as if I was doing anything. Yeah. And I'm trying to hold my shit together at the bottom. Yeah. No, but that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Fucked me
Bro,
up.
so you gotta explain that, though. They don't understand.
I don't know what part that happened in, though.
So this is, like, closer to
at this point, it was closer to it
and-
being gone to them.
Yeah, so, okay, so what, oh no, it wasn't. So, what happened was, at this point, I'm clutching, and I'm holding on to it for dear life,
Yeah.
and you decided, I think, to take it, hoping that that was gonna help something.
Yeah.
So, you took it from my hand, and one of her friends grabbed the end of the bag, okay? And we're on a stage, guys. We're on a fucking stage. So,
At the edge of the stage, okay? We're pretty close to the edge.
so
Almost where the band is.
he grabs the thing and she's not letting go. She's like, no,
No.
thank you. And he goes like this.
Man, I flew, okay? When I say my foot, and I'm holding the shoes. So I fling, guys. As if, so this is me, okay? I'm on the ground. I went here.
She made a rainbow.
Yeah, I made a rainbow, and did he take it?
So we all went, whoa, like
Yeah.
everybody was like,
And he
whoa.
didn't do it on, like,
Purposely,
he didn't know.
no.
Like, he just has a lot of strength. Like, he's a big guy. So he just took me, you know?
And I
like,
don't think he realized how close we were to the end of the stage.
Yeah.
So he did that.
because you get very involved. Clearly,
Yeah,
like,
we're all
even with the
fighting.
way we're, like, explaining this.
And
you would know.
so then he did that, and everyone went, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, everyone realized, like, that was crazy, because she would have, like, fallen off the stage. And so then he let go when she was back on Earth.
Once I was grounded. Yeah.
And I grab it again.
Yeah.
And he pounces on me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it was a 2-minute thing.
It
We're
was-
over it. Like, we're good.
She's on the ground now. She's got it back. We gotta go back. Yeah.
So I'm holding it again, and then a girl steps in, because we always need a woman to get the job done, because men can't do it on their own. Just kidding. But so one of her friends step in, and because obviously a girl can do it to a girl and the guys can't. She like went underneath like where I was holding it, and she's like pulling, and then somebody was pulling from the top. Anyways, they ended up getting the one shoe from me. I gave up after. I didn't give up. It was
it was
a
taken.
hard fight.
It was taken. Yeah.
After like 10, 15 minutes. No,
Bro, you
10
had
minutes.
an injury that happened too.
Oh, yeah. So when they picked up the bag, so it was in a bag. We stuffed it in the bag when I took the shoe. And the bag was like a plastic bag. And so it sliced the inside of my elbow. I think I still have the scar's gone now. Oh, you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
But it sliced the inside of my elbow when it was coming out. And like I had like scratches on my arm. But your heel. So when she
I was trying to think, what the hell? There was something. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
When she was airborne, I guess when she like hit the earth again, it like snapped, so her heel completely broke.
I didn't even realize, because there was so much adrenaline that I didn't realize until after it was done that like I was going, I'm like, guys,
we didn't even drink. My drunk. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then they did it. But then after all that, you know what made me so mad? Okay? All that fighting, everything, they got one shoe.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is basically the reason the girl side is trying to steal the shoe is so that they like make the guy pay for the shoe to like get it back. And it's like kind of you're paying for like taking our
bride away from us.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the girl from our family or friends or whatever.
Exactly.
From us.
So they only had one shoe, so they were trying to negotiate for this one shoe. Eventually, they negotiate for the shoe, and he gives them the money, and they go, "Okay, here you go. Here's the money back as a wedding present."
Yeah.
And I'm like, so all this
What
fighting,
did we do this for?
At least give it to us. Like we fought so hard for that shit.
Yeah.
Like for what?
Nothing. Nothing at all. For injuries.
For injuries. Facts. But it was so funny. But also, you know what was the funniest fucking part? So it was so hot, and the bride, like, she was wearing, like, really, really heavy clothes, right? So as all of this is happening, she's sitting, like, on the side with, like, her sunglasses on and being fanned. It was so funny. It was like she was the queen of the castle. It was
She's
so
like, do what you need to do.
I know. She's like, take care of it, guys. But it was so funny. But all said and done, it was, like, so much fun. It's such a good memory.
Yeah.
And we forgot about sweating for that 10
for that
minutes.
time.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're like, oh, it's hitting again. So then we were leaving anyway, so it was fine. But it was like it was a really cool experience, because I think when you have a close wedding like that, especially it happening in India and stuff, it just kind of like teaches you a lot about our culture, the different traditions. Like, you don't, like, realistically, it might not make sense to a lot of people that we did all of this for like shoes, right? Because like he can just have another pair of shoes somewhere, but it's the whole idea that like you're like going against each other and there's some sort of like a competition aspect to it. It actually probably has nothing to do with like Hinduism in general.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
but
it's like
just
a fun tradition.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening, for tuning in from wherever you are tuning in. Appreciate you, and follow us. Oh my god, I feel so awkward saying it.
I
Okay,
know.
sorry, go ahead.
On ALMST there on Instagram and hopefully TikTok eventually.
Yeah.
And YouTube.
Okay, anyways, thank you so much. Please leave any comments or suggestions on what we could do better. We appreciate you as always, and toodaloo.
Ta-ta.